So, okay, we are now live. Today is the 12th.
Hello, everyone. Today, as Mary Ellen just said, is April the 12th, Friday, 2019. I just saw a press conference or whatever with President Trump where he was talking about, I guess I didn't see that part of it. I guess he was talking about 5G, 6G, but it also got into the illegal immigrants. And so that we get it out in the open, I did inquire about the president's position on 5G. And his advisors, with the help of, I guess, scientists that he respects, told him that the 5G is less harmful than 4G. I don't know the principles involved in all of this, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I will say this. Do you really believe, can anybody in this audience tell me that they believe President Trump would do anything to harm citizens in this country? Do you? I mean, that is so far out of his character that I don't know if the 5G stuff's good, bad, or indifferent, but I do know whatever he's been told has convinced him that it is safe, maybe even safer than what's out there. Now, he is blocking China through Huawei or any of their other companies from selling their equipment to this country, because it would be too easy if they do to monitor and to basically spy on us and gain all kinds of advantages. The interesting thing today is President Trump has put out a tweet, and he addressed it in this press conference. He is considering placing illegal immigrants that have been held up for 20 days. At 20 days, they've got to be released, according to the laws we have presently. He's trying to get them changed, but the Democrats will not participate in coming up with any logical plan to stop it. So what he is considering is when they come to the 20-day period, instead of just opening the door and letting them go, busing them to sanctuary states and sanctuary cities. One of the key places he's planning on sending the first batch or two would be to San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi's hometown. I shouldn't say hometown, it's where she's from. I don't think she's much of a resident in San Francisco anymore. But I think that's good. I think that's wise. California says they want them, so let's give them to them. I'd like your opinions on that. So if you got a question or an opinion, please send it to us now, and we will address it. The Democrats are in a retreat right now, and they're making plans to do whatever they're going to do to combat President Trump, especially the fact that the earth has turned because Attorney General William Barr, when asked directly the question, do you believe that the government spied on President Trump's campaign and even into his transition period, and even after he was elected, did he believe that there was spying going on? And he said yes. Now, if you watched any news on 24-hour talk or the 24-hour news programming, I'm sure you have heard that he has driven the Democrats absolutely nuts. They're just literally going crazy. Now, what Lord said, so that you know, is he said, was there spying going on with they were apparently in the middle of pulling espionage tricks on Papadopoulos and others before they ever filed a FISA warrant to get a warrant to do it. Now, what does all this mean? Folks, I'm telling you, it's what I have been promising you since day one of President Trump. He's different. He's against the system. He's against everything the criminal cartel in Washington, D.C. is all about. And there's a new sheriff in town, William Law. If he holds true, as he appears to have done so far, now it's so far, nothing proof positive yet, but there seems to be an attorney general that is willing to get in and investigate not only the Democrats, but also the Clintons and what's been going on with the Clinton Foundation. He's getting involved in Uranium One. I know that for a fact. He is very much investigating it, or will be investigating it. Now, back to the lying. The Democrats are playing word games. They're saying that lying is different than surveillance. I'm sorry, spying is different than surveillance. And so they're playing on the razor's edge, claiming that he's saying something when he talks about spying that's different than surveillance. Folks, don't believe it. They're not. It's one and the same. But the whole issue of spying or surveillance is whether or not it was predicated. And by being predicated, that simply means that the government had gone through the proper procedures that they would have to go through to put surveillance on anybody. Did they go through the proper procedures to get approval to do the surveillance? And according with the dates of when we know they sent agents in to try and trap Papadopoulos, that's one of them. According to those dates, they had not even applied for a FISA warrant yet. And then Law is fixing to find out whether the FISA warrants were in fact and indeed legal. Now, what does that mean? Well, the FISA warrants, one of the rules in obtaining a FISA warrant is that an authorized figure, public figure, is supposed to validate that the information was true to the best of their knowledge. And we know now that the one Comey signed, he knew it was not verified. Now we all know it, but the point is, when Comey signed that FISA warrant, did he know or not whether that dossier was verified or not? And what we're going to find out, what we already know, and what evidence I have been a part of working with says, beyond any shadow of any doubt, he knew, at least he knew, that the dossier was unverified. I'm not saying in legal terms, because we're dealing on the terms of legality here, I'm not saying that we can prove he knew it was bogus. I'm not saying that at all. But what we can say and prove in a court of law is that he did not know. No, he knew it was not verified. Well, did I say that clear enough? I'm afraid I got confused people.
I understood it, but I would say repeat it.
All right. The thing about the FISA and James Comey, let me see if I get this straight for everybody. When he signed for that FISA warrant, prove beyond any shadow of any doubt is that he knew it was not verified. Not verified. And because of what the law is having to do with FISA warrants, when he signed that warrant, he was swearing under oath that he knew that the dossier was verified, that it was true, and therefore it was admissible as evidence to justify getting warrants to monitor and to spy for the Trump campaign. So, there you go. This is where it all hinges. Democrats are in their retreat right now. And if we were able to be a fly on the wall, oh, what we'd be hearing. You see, they got to come up with some unified strategy as to how to deal with it. Because they know that Barr has them. They know Barr has the information that could put Comey in jail. So, now we know. This you should know. I say, now we know. You should know. This is the situation.
Question, Larry.
This is,
Where are we in the timeline of running out of statute of limitations?
we're getting close. We're getting close, but I will tell you this. We have beat them on running the clock out. Because in the referrals requested by Nichols, they start the clock again on the two most critical cases that were running out of time. So, for all of you that are worried about the statute of limitations running out on some of the crimes, Nichols has taken care of that with the criminal referrals, because with the criminal referrals, it starts the clock all over again. Essentially starts the clock over again. So there's a lot happening, an awful lot happening, but I've got something even better for y'all. I found out this morning that Mitch McConnell has directed the Republicans to make their campaigns all connect to never socialism. They are going to use socialism as their main weapon against the Democrats in this 2020 election. That should make each and every one of you proud. You did that. We did that. Now, our never socialism battle cry is not only going to be carried by the president in his campaign, but by all of the Republican candidates running at least for the Senate. I don't know what they're doing in the House yet, but I know in the Senate, McConnell has told them they are to run against socialism.
I have a question on that, Larry. Where does that leave us trying to replace an incumbent in the primary? Does that steal our thunder?
Leaves us right where we want to be.
Does it steal our thunder that they're using the same slogan?
Does not.
Why not?
Well, number one, in the primary, we're running never socialism in the primary. The Republican can talk about socialism all he wants to, but we're not single-dimensionally going with never socialism. That's just our battle cry. But the incumbents are the ones that have left us in the hole we're in. This illegal immigration problem that we have today is one of the issues we will run our candidates in the primaries. Where were all the Republicans when they had the House and the Senate and the presidency? When we know President Trump was pushing hard for illegal immigration immigration laws. They were in a position to do it. And we're going to ride them hard on that. But do not need to see. I'm proud that they're adopting as a socialism, and most of them, that's just their plan for their general election, as it is with us. But we give up nothing of our package, nothing of our power. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, we're stronger. Because everyone in Washington knows where they came from. Everyone knows where that strategy came from. We were first.
I want to shout for joy.
That's right. We have a chance. If every Republican, we hit our candidates, if we win in the primary, but in the general election, don't you see, God, can't you see the victory here? We're going to have every Republican candidate running and telling every one of the base, the soft base of the Trump support, every one of them are going to be carrying the same mantra out there. That if you vote for a Democrat, you're voting for socialism. Guys, that's huge. Huge. And I'll be honest, I never dreamed. I knew we could get President Trump to run on that, and I knew he would do it. I know he will do it. But I never dreamed we'd get McConnell and those guys joining in doing it as well. That means there's massive emphasis on 2020's election towards socialism.
Larry, is it possible that the phone calls we made in February might have impacted our being able to have this weight right now?
Maybe. But I would think it also, the word we've been passing on and the stuff we've been doing on the inside that y'all don't know about, but you can see the fruit of it.
Folks, that's why the donations to nicholslive.com, nicholslive@aol.com, are at PayPal are so very important. Larry can't talk about how everything is being spent because what he does is behind the scenes. And we have to leave it behind the scenes and know that he is doing things. Look at the result we have just gotten because of what we have done to support Larry. This is a huge win for us, for all of us.
Huge win. It may very well turn the tide of this election. It may very well. God, I wish y'all could see it. I wish y'all could feel what Mary Ellen and I feel right now. I do. It's hard work. It's hard work getting this massive ship we call government. It's hard for little people like us to get that ship to turn. But every once in a while, if we stay the course, the ship will turn. Where I've had trouble seeing victory. I always felt like we could win, but I'll be honest, I've had trouble seeing it. Unless we could get Trump and anybody else that we can, if we had to run our own candidates, to highlight the fact that if they vote for Democrats, they're voting for socialism. And the other thing they're going to push, McConnell hasn't announced this yet, but it's going to be, if you don't vote, if there's any reason on earth why you don't go out and vote in November of 2020, he did vote. He voted for socialism. As you knew about it before anybody else in the country knew. You knew
Larry, I want to say something. Rindy's in the chat, and she's letting everybody know how hard we worked on these phone calls with force multiplication. And she is pointing out how well that does work. And I want to thank her and Dale and Renee and everybody else. Those people we know made a lot of calls day after day and kept doing it more than the 2 weeks. And I want to publicly thank them. We know there were others that were making calls, and we don't know how many everybody else was doing, but those three went way above and beyond what we asked them to do. And they weren't just calling a few people, they were going through the list of representatives in the House, and they were calling one person after another, after another, after another. They were using force multiplication, but they weren't making 90 calls to the same person. They were calling 50 different people with multiple calls.
Randy, thank you. Thank you. I don't know which of the calls they made that may have made the difference, but just the dedication, Randy, and all of you that did it, that's what wins. That's what wins. Dedication.
This helped us get Kavanaugh confirmed.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear you out there send a comment in or a question if you like. Let me hear the joy you should have. I hope you have the pride. This group right here has something to be proud of. No, it'll never be reflected in the history books. Nobody's going to pin a medal on you. Nobody. As a matter of fact, most people will never even know you did it.
Speaking of not pinning a medal, I want to give a shout out to a woman named Janet Porter. 11 years ago, she started pushing for the heartbeat bill in the legislation in Ohio. After 11 years of very, very hard work, and Mark Harrington came on board with her. She was there in the chamber when it passed. And there is a photo of her on Facebook, on her knees, her hands on her knees. Her head is bowed down into her hands. And she is praying and thanking God for what happened. And when the governor signed the bill, she was not invited to come and observe his signature, even though she was the one that had been responsible for getting it done. This is just the proof of Larry's point that we don't always get the kudos now. And that's why we try to give credit where credit is due when it's appropriate. And I just want y'all to know that as we watch one state after another pass these bills, there are a few people working unknown to anyone else behind the scenes that we need to thank God for.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You know, guys, it's not about bragging rights. It's about just knowing. Okay, just knowing. Y'all should know nobody in this entire nation was working as hard as we were to get the Republicans, primarily Trump, to adopt the fight against socialism as the key thing that can win this election. And just like I told you, Nichols and them figured it out. I was told they figured it out on their own. That if President Trump loses, so will the Senate. The Senate will go Democrat. So they had to get involved in the fight, and they had to join in our slogan. It's the only guaranteed way to fight the giveaway programs that they're going to be offering to the millennials, to the blacks, to the college kids. I mean, they've got a package of freebies that will never happen, of course. campaign, they will be gold, solid gold. And we were the first to point out that if it's going to win, if we're going to win, we got to take what the Democrats gave us and use it on them. That's what we've done. You see, they were the ones that started it. They were the ones calling it democratic socialism. They were the ones that started proudly boasting about socialism. Well, they boasted about it, and now we're going to shove it down their throat.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to shove it right down their throat. And they can't deny it now. You know why? Because they got the Cortezes and they got that Muslim on it. They've got that young bunch that are so proud of socialism. They'll not back off. Oh, I'm sure Pelosi and them have realized. They've realized. As a matter of fact, they've even started requesting these people stop using it. It's too late. The arrogance of these people, they're not going to stop using it. I'm just proud of you. I don't know what else to say about it. But we have much work to do. Very seldom will we get the kind of gift we were given today. Just a little while ago, very seldom it was coming. But we got one today. This battle will not be won over what Laura, keep calling Starr, what William Laura can do as Attorney General in this election. He can expose all the people for all the criminality that's been done. He can do it. That's not going to win the election. Why? Because, as I've told you before, we are so deeply involved in polarization that the Democrats, the people loyal to the Democrats, their base, it doesn't matter what law comes up against. It doesn't matter what proof he has. It doesn't matter what prosecutions he brings forward. The base of the Democrats will go with it. And they're 40% of their base will not even hear any of it. They won't even know it. And then the 60% of their base, they're not going to pay that much attention to it. They're going to ignore it. But the thing is, they're going to see the sweeteners. They're going to see the freebies. You get motivated to come vote. That's a fact. Now on our side, the 40% that would vote for Trump and would vote Republican for the Senate and the House, those 40%, they're fine. They're going to be happy. They're going to feel good that some investigations and possibly prosecutions will be coming during this campaign. They're going to be pickle game. But the 60%, 60% still soft. And only if the 60% understand over and over and over again that this package of governing that the Democrats are bringing forward is nothing but socialism in its worst form. If that gets drilled into them over and over and over, we can get them to come out and vote. And if our base comes out, if our 60% comes out to vote, we'll win in 2020. Any questions or comments?
I thought I would just recap for somebody who came on late and said, "What's the good news? What did I miss?" Mitch McConnell is telling the senators that they need to run and point out never socialism. They need to point out that a vote for the Democrats is a vote for socialism. And so we are standing united. We are standing united They realize that a vote, if Trump loses, the Senate will lose, the Republicans in the Senate will lose also. So they're fighting for their own jobs by standing with Trump. And we have made a difference with what we have done, with what Larry has done behind the scenes. And that is why it is so vital that we keep supporting him, because he does things that he cannot tell us about. So that's my synopsis.
I don't want to make out like I'm something I'm not. It's just we all worked hard to get this message out.
But there are things.
Responding.
There are things, Larry, that you do that we don't know about, that you can do that none of us would ever have the ability to do. And for that, we thank you. We gladly, those of us that are standing with you and working with you, we are very happy to support you in this, because we know what a difference we as a team makes. We as a team, yeah, it makes, because we're in this together. And so we do our part faithfully, because you're doing your part faithfully.
Now we've got the president campaigning against socialism. Now we know we'll have the Republican senators campaigning against socialism. And now we've got to have an army to do our part in the campaign. The army of 1,000. Now, Michael, Mississippi, he's got connections to help us get our 1,000. And will you tell Michael, if he's listening, I hope he's listening, how to contact you and us?
Michael, I sent an email to the main office that you're with. I don't know if you got it. Please send a text message or call at 240-499-6729. I need to put you in touch with Larry so you can talk about what can be done and how we can make this work, and maybe get others in the organization in other states involved in helping as well. I have talked to Stuart Rhodes, but not gotten anywhere in talking to him. So I have met him and spoken with him a couple different times. But we really do need help.
So loud.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so Michael in Mississippi, contact 240-499-6729.
All right. Now you're quiet. Is anybody even listening?
Yes, we've got 31 listening right now. I'm sorry about Larry's voice, and this is the best sound quality we can figure out how to muster. If anybody is really good with technology and wants to help me, I welcome your input. My number, you can contact me at 240-499-6729.
Yes. We're getting you the problem the best we can. The best we can. So I agree with Mary Ellen. If somebody out there has some assistance they can give to make the quality better, please contact us. What we're going to be talking about in the coming weeks is going to be very important. Hugely important. And there are tricks that we're going to use, and we're going to win this thing. We're going to win it. But I got to have you to help me. You're not going to be asked to do a lot. You're not going to be asked to do anything that's going to be, quote unquote, a huge burden on you. But you are going to be asked to help. Yesterday, I asked how many of you would send $1? So we'd know how many we've got in the Army. 3. 3. Of all the people that heard it, 3 responded. I don't want that to happen again. You know what? We've got as much proof as we can give you. And what we're doing is making a difference. And it is making a difference. I don't know what more anybody is offering y'all to prove what they're doing. And you don't have to believe me about McConnell. Watch news. He says it on the news. You don't have to believe me. See him say it. You don't have to believe me. We said it. We talked about it as a strategy. And then you heard President Trump in his State of the Union use our words exactly, never socialism. And for those of you that have been here with us, nobody was talking about it when we were. Nobody knew about it. And certainly nobody had seen to use it as the weapon for the campaigns. We did that. And it took a little doing to get the powers that be to hear us. They heard. They heard. And they're doing it. I don't know what more to talk to you. I really don't. But this is a day when we can be proud. This is a day when we can see light. Light where every time before it was dark. We see light. Now, I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. But it's time. It's time that we get ready to be supportive where we're going to have to be supportive. I might as well tell you, William Barr is going to need our help. He is fixing to do investigations that I know of that are going to require us to inform the public. Because if all that we hear about, this year's OJ Ball, if all the public, general public's going to hear is what's out on the mainstream media, it's not going to be worth anything. We've got to be there to clarify. Now, by clarifying, that means we can't go overboard. We can't exaggerate. We can't make false promises. We just got to tell the truth. The truth is, some very powerful people are going to go down. They are going to go down. We still have a problem in the courts. But we're working on how to resolve that. And William Barr, Attorney General Barr, knows these problems probably better than anyone. And I can assure you, I agree with what he plans to do. Not me, yeah. I know what his strategy is, and I believe in it. Never thought I'd see the day we'd hear it coming. Well, you haven't heard it yet, but you will. Never dreamed of the day that we'd have an attorney general that would actually do what he's fixing to do. But he's coming. And he's going to prosecute every one of them to the hilt. He's going to put them right where they belong. And some of them, as we've talked before, people like Hillary, due to her past position and security, maybe even Comey, some of the others, it may not be possible, but they're actually put in prison due to the fact you can't put them in a prison population, even minimum security. But they will be punished And in some cases, like Hillary and Bill, just the punishment of making people know who they really are is enough punishment for them. That would be the worst punishment for them that could ever be applied to anybody. Get in the game. Get in with us. Be a part of the victories. I was just telling Sandy that we're just going to have to, even though we're at times depressed, at times we're down. I've been down. But we just have to stay the course. And it wasn't 3 minutes after I hung up with him that I got the news. I saw it. 3 minutes after I talked to Sandy, kind of in a down moment, I get off again, and there it was on television. There was Mitch McConnell telling the fellow Republicans to attack and use, I'm not paraphrasing my words, to use anti-socialism, never socialism, as the thrust of their campaigns. Be patient at times. We still at times. And Sandy reminded me of something I've lived by for years and years. God never gives us more than we can handle. Now that part of the scripture doesn't say we're guaranteed to handle it. But God never gives us, any of us, more than we can handle. We just have to do it right. Any questions?
Do the Democrats want baby boomers just to go away?
Mm-hmm. They do.
Any word on that?
They're wishing hard that the baby boomer generation would hurry up and down.
Okay, another question. Have you heard anything more on Netanyahu and what's happening there?
I have not. I know he's reelected. I know this group of antagonists there, small group by the way, are trying to come at him as the Democrats are going after Trump. But I don't believe they'll be successful in Israel. Look, in Netanyahu, the people of Israel, who face every day the risk, the threat of a rocket or a missile coming in and killing them, or killing their families. They're not going to get rid of Benjamin Netanyahu. They're not. I said that before the election, and it held up. You know, people were saying he couldn't win this election. I told you he would. And he did. Not because I have any crystal ball that I look at. Not that at all. It's just a matter of facing the facts. We don't live under the threat Israel does every day. But if we did, then Netanyahu would win. Anybody else?
Another repeated question about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and then one more question.
What's the question about Bader Ginsburg now?
Any update on Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
What about her?
She's still alive? She's still working?
To my knowledge, she's still alive. And I think, from what I've been told, that she is still servicing the rulings, but she's doing it from home. She's not dead. She's not dead, and they're making out like she's alive so that they don't give up the seat. That's another one of those crazy stories on the internet.
Okay, what do you think of the ACLU trying to help Assange?
I don't know what I think about that. Usually the ACLU will take a position that's just about as opposite of what I would want as anything. I mean, ACLU typically stands against anything I believe in. Assange, I'm still confused about Assange. I am. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm confused about it. What he put out helped this nation greatly, especially during the campaign with Hillary running for president. But then the problem arises, that was good, but it's bad that he was able to get into and make public things that should be secret. You know, I fear somebody like him, if not him, based off what he apparently was able to do, could put our entire security, national security apparatus in jeopardy. So, what do you do? Who are we for? Are we for prosecuting him? Are we not? I don't know.
Okay, another one. The foreign-owned media that collaborated with vigor in what is now being called a coup, is it possible that CNN and MSNBC producers and presenters could face jail time or the ultimate penalties for treason?
As far as I'm concerned, they should. However, I don't know legally how to approach that. Being a media source gives them a lot of leniency that you and I don't have. A lot. And they got legal wiggle room that we would not have. To just know that as far as I'm concerned, they should be hung out by their thumbs from now until eternity. I know it's rough, but it's the way I feel. They have played an active role, an integral part of the coup that's going on to change our form of government. It's their right, I guess. You know, it's the right of the Democrats to say they want a socialist government. It's their right. They can say it. Thank God, in 2020, there's still enough of the baby boomers said, that's what you want to call it. There's still enough around to put up a fight against it. But it's their right. It's their right. And what's funny, it's not funny, but it is in a way. What's funny when and if we ever truly become a socialist country, the first organization to get whacked will be the media. You see, they'll not allow free media. It won't exist. So they'll be taken out before any of us. I would ask them to be careful because you will reap what you sow. I promise you. And they ought to look at the history books. They ought to look at all these different countries that have gone and turned into socialist and communist and dictatorial societies. They ought to look at them. Because it'll show them a clear path to where they're headed, which is out.
He said he loved your answer, the person that asked that question. Okay, do you think they'll get Omar and the other Muslims out of the government?
Well, once again, it's up to the people in the districts that elected them. They're not going to be put out by the general population. They're just not. There's not going to be a recall election unless the people in their districts call for it. Now, as far as their position in Congress, they're reasonably safe, because I don't believe the Democrats or even the Rhino Republicans are going to do what should be done in Central. Some of the most racist, some of the most insensitive things that are being said in this country are coming out of their mouths. Right there. They got it. And they should be yanked off the floor. And they should be censored and not allowed to participate in the damn thing. But once again, that's how crooked our government, our Congress has become. They don't care that what they say about Israel and Jews. They don't care. It's all about their jobs. It's all about their jobs. And they see the Muslims in America as a growing and even now a significant voting bloc in the upcoming elections.
Well, it certainly helps them to elect Muslim candidates when they live and all congregate together in a district so that they can select one of their own.
Yep. And more cities I have been informed just yesterday. I was a bit shocked when I heard from Washington some numbers of the number of cities that are going 60+% Muslim. That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Scary. And I assure you, left unabated, if we don't, as a nation, wake up, they're just a day away. I don't know what day it is, but they're just a day away from picking apart of this country and declaring it a caliphate. And they're constantly, every day, as we're speaking right now, in many states, there are actually bills being proposed to force states and force courts to recognize Sharia law. It's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. We cannot have, I mean, look, we've got duplicity in law right now. As it stands presently, the Democrats seem to be able to do anything they want without any penalty, and the Republicans are conservative. If you're conservative, they'll hang at any chance they can get. But it won't be long. And I don't understand how anybody can be a member of Congress nationally or a member of a state legislature and agree to allow Sharia law to be practiced. We can't make it. The country can't make it. The community can't make it. If there are two standards of law, you can't do it. It don't work. Anybody else will go, Mary? We're about out of time.
Do you know anything about a questionnaire that Trump sent out asking questions about the media?
Do not. I do not. I will find out, but I don't right now.
Okay. Now there's one thing, I don't know if this is a question you want to try and address, but Question is, do you think if America puts Israel first, that God will bring prosperity and blessing to America, even if we have murdered over 60 million babies in the womb and the same-sex marriage issue against God too? How will God bless that?
Well, I'm going to answer that by saying that's completely out of my pay grade. That's God type material. God will have to answer that. And I suppose he will. But I don't know. It doesn't, it's hard for me, I'll be honest, it's hard for me to see how America can keep going on in the way it's going, turning away from God. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If God doesn't do something to America for killing the babies and turning away from God and all of that, then it seems to me he would owe Sodom and Gomorrah an apology.
Billy Graham used to say that. Billy Graham used to say that.
Yeah.
We got one last. We got
then
one.
I copied him and didn't know it.
Yeah, we got one last question. How can they stop these congressmen and senators from stealing from the system? Even Ocasio-Cortez supposedly took $1 million her first-year term. Now, why don't they lock her up?
Well, I don't think she's going to get by with it. But what she did, she simply is such a hypocrite that she tells everybody about big money and all of this, that, and the other. And the whole time, she and her campaign manager, whatever he is, set up two companies, two LLCs, so that they could shift monies into them. And she is caught. She has been caught. And it's being investigated right now. So, I'm afraid our AOC lady soon is going to be exposed for being a complete hypocrite. Almost everything that she swears against, she's doing. And I guess that makes her a regular politician, you know?
It's interesting the way she just puts it out there blatantly.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well, again, I make two offers. One, you have until Sunday to get the Never Socialism t-shirt for $29.95 till Sunday. I said I would do it, and I will. The other thing is I need you to get up off your butt, and if you're going to be a part of our army, please just send $1 to PayPal or in the mail. It's $1.
And if that is really...
That way we know to count you as a part of the group.
And if that...
That's the way we have it. No.
And if that truly is, if $1 truly is too much of a hardship, then contact 240-499-6729 and let's talk. And there is one other thing, Larry, it did not come in the chat. Somebody asked about a bus tour for Never Socialism. And that's a great idea. We need funds for that.
I agree. It's a good idea, actually. Very good idea. But it has so many things cost money that we don't presently have. So with that, folks, I need you to send the $1 right now. Please. It's Nichols Live at AOL.com. Nichols Live at AOL.com. Be proud of what you've done and be excited for what you're going to do. But we got to do it together. So please join us. Let us know you're in. Every one of you. Let us know you're in. So with that, Marilyn, anything from you in closing?
Nope, that's it. We'll see. We'll talk to y'all on Monday.
That's right. Until then, folks, good day and have a good weekend.
Enjoy your Palm Sunday. Glorify the Lord. Bye.